I'm Kelly, and this is Franco.
And together we are Love Bats in the Belfry. So, welcome back to Creepy Coffee and Conversation.
It's
number 4. Yeah, we've haven't done one in a little bit, I would say. But we figured, and it's been out for almost 2 weeks now.
Mm-hmm.
But we kind of wanted to talk about a movie that most Halloween fans were pretty psyched on, especially her, was Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. And yeah, we saw it a week ago, so we've had a little bit of time to kind of process it. But
there's not much to
There
process.
wasn't much to process about this movie, and we kind of universally agreed on what we thought of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you want to start your thoughts on Scary Stories?
Sure. So, like you said, I was super excited. This is a book that I was read by my older sisters in my basement purposely to try to scare me. And then I kind of would pick it up on my own and there's hair in my mouth. I would pick it up on my own and try to scare myself in the dark, and I would stare at all the art and thought it was so creepy. So when I found out that this movie was coming out, I was so incredibly excited to see how it would play out. I tried not to have too high of expectations, but I was pleasantly surprised by how beautiful it was and how true they stayed to the imagery. I think you kind of said something about how they kind of ripped off Goosebumps a little bit with the story line.
But before I go into that, I will just add to your thing is, I didn't have much expectations either. I honestly was expecting this movie not to be cynical, but I almost expected it to suck.
I knew you were going to say that.
Or at least, just not be that great. And, yeah, I don't think this was amazing, but I thought this was a perfectly fun, coming up Halloween, it's August, just a perfectly good, get you in the mood for fall, spooky movie. And this is one of those things, I remember reading the books growing up, and, everyone remembers the illustrations more than the actual stories.
Definitely.
But the stories were still good, and, I actually really enjoyed this movie, and this is one of the few times I will say that PG-13 is a good fit for this movie, because Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, it was a book definitely meant for kids to, it's kind of like a gateway horror film, I would say. And, I enjoyed this movie. There's definitely flaws, for sure, but
I didn't really have that many complaints.
I didn't either. I'll get into those, but I would say, my biggest complaint is what you just said, was they kind of ripped off the Goosebumps reboot movie,
which I've actually never seen.
I started watching it. I can only get half hour in. I just was not a fan of it, and I'm a big Goosebumps fan, and I thought it was garbage. I mean, even the TV show, in the 90s, there was some really bad acting, but it's a I don't really consider it a guilty pleasure. It's bad, but I like it. It's fun. And I'm sure I feel like the movie with Jack Black was trying to go for that, but, the story of the movie with Jack Black was that he plays R.L. Stine, and all the books that he wrote, the monsters, come to life. That's basically the story of this. And while it's a neat idea, first, it kind of was a ripoff of that, and a lot of people saw the Goosebumps movie, but at the same time, it was this was a thing that would have been totally okay if they had just took those stories, because it's an anthology, series, and they just took picked up a few of the stories and then just made it an anthology for the movie.
That's what I was expecting.
Yeah, I would have been completely okay with that.
But I also think that the way that they did it, the stories coming to life, made it more of I don't want to say well-rounded, because it would have been fine as an anthology, but for general audiences who maybe didn't read the books, Like, I just feel like it's more of a story for them to follow along. Because some of the stories really don't have much to them.
They're pretty simple.
They're very simple, very short, just... It wouldn't have been a very long movie.
I know, and...
So...
Yeah, I mean, despite all that, I still really enjoyed the movie. I mean,
I liked all the characters but one.
Yeah, I agree. I actually enjoyed the characters as well. One thing I will give the movie praise for was it's like, this was one of those movies where it had comedy in it, but they they really were not trying to force it down people's throats.
No, they did a great job with that.
That's one thing is like, the 2017 while I enjoyed that movie, like, it was like every other line was like, let's throw in something funny.
Some dirty,
like some stupid joke. Dirty joke. And this, it was just like, one of the characters who was like the comic relief, I forget his name.
Honestly, I don't know. I just remember Augie. Yeah,
Augie was the character I didn't care for at all, and I'm glad he got killed off pretty early in the movie. But the kid who was the comic relief, like, he wasn't annoying. Surprisingly, most comic relief characters in movies I can't stand, but I thought it was funny because most of his lines were like, I'm not just gonna throw the stupid comedy in it constantly. It was just like, no, like, a kid who's like obnoxious like that would say this stuff, like, in their natural life. Like, they would say something like that. And, like, I bought that.
Yes. And the main character's room was so cool. Like, I wish I was her as a kid. She had
was cool.
Really cool, like, posters up on the wall. I really liked her a lot.
Yeah, she wanted to be a writer. And she liked, you know, a lot of the spooky stuff. She liked a lot of horror movies. She had, like, this took place, I think, in the late 60s or something. But she had a lot of, like, older horror movie type, like, posters, like Bela Lugosi stuff, and yeah, it was really neat. And yeah, most of the characters are, you know, enjoyable except Augie.
And he wasn't even that bad. He was just kind of annoying.
He wasn't that bad, but he was like one of those.
Sorry.
It's okay. He's one of those, like, I'm uptight about everything type characters, and it was good when he kind of bit the dust.
Yeah. But, something that I pointed out to you was that there could have been more of the, monsters, but, shout out to another YouTube channel. But if you guys watch, Sarah Hawkinson, Possessed by Horror, she pointed out how she felt the same way, but that if they were on screen too long, it wouldn't be scary anymore, which I thought was a good point. Because, like, they did such a good job of, like, trying to creep you out, and they were creepy without even, like, really trying, I feel like, just simply the way they looked. And that was another thing, like...
It wasn't the 2017 when Pennywise popped out.
Yeah.
Like, every time.
Yeah, I don't know, it just... I give him a lot of props for that.
Yeah, and I agree, and a good movie comparison of showing your monster too much is the movie Mama.
She said the same thing.
Yeah, ironically directed by Guillermo del Toro, but Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark was just simply produced. He just had a creative hand in it. But yeah, that's a great movie to compare it to, showing your monster too much, because mini review of that movie, I really liked it until, like, the past 10 minutes, because it barely showed this creature at all. And then the last 10 minutes, it's just boom. Like, just out in the open the whole time. It's no longer scary. So, like, I agree with you. It was just, the scary, creepy creatures weren't trying, it wasn't trying too hard to scare you. It had your jump scares in it that's to be expected, and this is PG-13. Like, I was expecting jump scares.
But it didn't feel excessive to me.
No, it wasn't. There was only
Winchester.
one. Oh yeah, Winchester was like 15 jump scares.
But it was more than
that. But yeah, the only jump scare that annoyed me was, you know, your cliched one at the very beginning of the movie where it's just nothing's there. It was a person, you know, tapping you on the shoulder, and then you hear a loud noise. It's like, that's just not realistic, but that's just my overall complaint of jump scares. So, I didn't know who directed this because I didn't really read up on it, but the director of Autopsy of Jane Doe directed this movie.
It's cool.
And I love that movie. It's a great movie. And while I've not seen it, I've heard a lot of great things. The same director did a movie called Troll Hunter, which I've been meaning to see, and pretty much a lot of people who have seen it says it's really good. So we may have to watch that.
Great. There's something else I was gonna say. Oh, I wanted to ask you which monster was your favorite.
Probably because I just love weird stuff. I loved the creature that at the end just like came in pieces and then pieced himself together.
Yes.
And was like all over the place like
Mm-hmm.
But he was probably my favorite. And then something just simple about what's the name of the scarecrow?
Harold?
Harold. Yeah, I liked Harold a lot too. I don't know.
Harold was good, and I hated the character that he killed. Obviously, everyone was supposed to hate him.
Yeah.
But I was, like, happy. That scene was cool.
Mm-hmm. For PG-13, I was like, oh. Like, it wasn't bloody or gory, but I was like, it's kind of gross for a PG-13 movie, like, what happened to this one kid.
Yeah. I asked you this question, and then I don't even know what my favorite is. The one that, like... Obviously, there's two. Okay, hold on.
You're fine.
The one with the spider bite,
Mm-hmm.
for obvious reasons, bothered me. Just whenever they were all coming out.
She has a phobia.
Yeah. When they were all coming out all over her, like, she did a very good job at not freaking out, because I wouldn't have been able to do that. And I know it wasn't real. But I'm just saying the character in the movie, like, she just kind of sat there and screamed.
Yeah.
I probably would have, like, cut my limbs off.
Yeah, I had a heart attack.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So that
anxiety.
one was, like, ugh.
Yeah.
And then I really liked Harold, too. But I also liked, I don't know her name, but the one that was, like, closing in on the...
Oh, in the mental hospital?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The chubby girl.
Yeah. She was... Like, most of the monsters were really well done in this.
Oh, and then the one, the Big Toe Story, that one looked really good.
Oh, yeah.
That one was good. The one that killed Bobby.
Yeah, the big toe. Because that was the creepy face lady, right?
Yes.
Can you grab your book? Because it's at the front of that, I think.
She was the one, and I think I'm biased because she was the one that
yeah, it's
I was afraid of the most as a kid.
Yeah, like she's...
So.
Yeah, she was terrifying, but her face was very true to the book.
Yes.
I like that.
They all were. And then who was the guy? What was the guy's name? Bo...
The one who, like...
The one that you loved.
Oh, I don't know. Because I don't remember that story at all. And
Mitai Dodi?
yeah, I haven't read these things in such a long time, but it was just cool, like, you know, seeing that nostalgia. And I know with movies, just everything is nostalgia in your face of everything now, but I don't know. It's
Waka.
Yeah, it's surprising that a movie like this took so long to be made, because I feel like this, like, stuff would have been all over, like,
Sorry.
or, like, you know, movie makers would have been all over something like this, like, oh, something creepy, like Goosebumps was just like, I mean, they made the TV show, but then they're like, yeah, let's make a movie, and I'm surprised they didn't do, like, at least a TV show of this thing. So, but that's just a random observation.
Yeah.
Pretty much my one last thought was, actually two. So, one of the few times a movie where the CGI looked good and was effective. And I usually hate a lot of CGI effects, and because I really prefer practical compared to that.
I feel like it was, though. I feel like it was more like makeup and stuff.
It is a good combination of both, I think. But, yeah, I mean, even the CGI didn't bother me in this movie, and also, I love movies that just give you that, like, vibe. Like, I love movies set in wintertime with snow everywhere, but this was a movie that just literally everything was fall with, you know, leaves everywhere.
It was so pretty.
People were wearing sweaters. I'm like, I want to wear a freaking sweater. I'm tired of 90-degree weather.
Yeah, the main character also made me want to ride my bike.
Really?
She rode her bike everywhere.
But it was cool, like, also the one scene where they were at the, I mean, there was a drive-in scene earlier, like in the beginning of the movie, but then they showed the drive-in, like, when it was completely empty. I don't know. For some reason, I don't like that scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's most of what I think. I do recommend people see it. I mean, especially this is a great gateway horror film. I think most people that, you know, can't stomach, like, the really horrific stuff, but they like to be spooked, like, this is a perfect movie for you.
I would definitely say it's going to be something that I watch every year around Halloween time.
Yeah, I think this is a good Halloween movie, definitely. Most of the anthology type are good to watch. But yeah, I enjoyed this movie. Do you have any other thoughts?
No. I liked it. I recommend it. Everybody should see it.
Too. Yeah.
I kind of want to see it again, but I'm not going to pay for it again.
Yeah, well, we have a lot of horror movies, actually, that we need to catch up on, because we didn't get to see them. We do need to watch some bad ones that I know are bad. Curse of La Lenora.
Oh, yeah.
There's one coming out called, was it Ready or Not? Or something like that?
Yes.
Yeah. I do want to see it, even though it's like...
I don't remember that one.
The advertisement for that movie is like... It's rides the line of this looks good, but this also looks horrible. I don't know.
I barely remember that one. I mean, I remember La Llorona.
Yeah, which is a typical
The
Conjuring universe spin-off type movie.
We saw the freaking trailer, like...
80 times this year.
Yeah.
Before it came out.
Yeah.
So, it's definitely one thing because before seeing this, the last time we went to the movies was to see Ma. So...
It's been a while.
Yeah, we'll have to catch up on some horror movies, but I definitely want to do a year-end best and worst of list. So, that'll definitely be in the next couple months.
Mm-hmm.
You might see that on Creepy Coffee Conversation. Well, anyways, that's going to do it here for Creepy Coffee Conversation. So, my name is Brett.
I'm Kelly.
This is Franco. We're Love Bats in the Belfry. If you enjoyed our review of Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, just leave a like, comment on what you thought of the movie, subscribe to our channel for all the spookiness you can handle. We'll throw even more at you if you can handle all that. So, and we will see you in a future video, hopefully sooner than later.
Thank you.
Bye. Everyone.